Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today for my presentation, Using an Autoethnography Approach as a Pedagogical Tool Connecting Diverse Communities and Health Science Careers. My name is Donna Harp Ziegenfuss, and I'm an Associate Librarian in the Marriott Library at the University of Utah. But what I'm going to be talking about today is a course that I've been teaching since 2014, which is a qualitative, a qualitative research course for undergraduate students who are part of a health science student cohort. So a little bit about the context. Our institution has a series of freshman cohort community courses called LEAP program, and they help freshmen build community when starting college. Usually they are a 2-semester course series. There's engineering LEAP, social science LEAP, and fine arts LEAP, but the health science LEAP is a 4-year program. The Health Science LEAP program is designed for underrepresented minority students and also first-generation students who are interested in health science professions. The courses that I have taught in this program are only for 1 semester and in the 2nd year of the Health Science LEAP program. The first time I taught this course in 2014, it was a 1-credit course. Then in 2015, the course merged with a quantitative lab component, so half a semester qual and half a semester quant to become a 2-credit course. In the beginning years, I focused on just teaching some qualitative skills like how to interview, how to code, how to analyze qualitative text. They would interview a health science professional in their field and transcribe the interview, code the text, and then write up a report at the end. I adjusted the assignment for several years until 2019 when I totally redesigned the course using an autoethnography framework for the course. I'm also doing an autoethnography project of my own, so I share my own writing with them as an example, and we get to talk about qualitative and research and ethnography. They write a very short ethnography about why they chose the health science career path. Was there an incident that put them on this career path, or someone that they met? Were they ill, or what was a family member ill that increased the interest in this area? By writing an autoethnography, they had aha moments when reflecting and sharing their narratives with each other. And I saw the students were much more engaged in the qualitative research process. So this course is a scaffolded process across 7 weeks with assignments that build on each other, all culminating in one final assignment. The course is taught in a flipped format, so a lot of their reading and video tutorials are done outside of class, but when they come to class, they actually do qualitative research and they write and they ask questions. So it's more of an experiential experience in the class, and it is a 3-hour class once a week. They learn about autoethnography and qualitative research. They study examples of this type of writing. They write an autoethnography draft. I have students who are immigrants, who are refugees, who are first members of their family to go to college. And there are so many interesting stories about what started them on this path to the health science career path. After they write their draft, they share it with a partner. Their partner would read the draft and design interview questions to ask them to help them add more details to their story. The interviews are transcribed, and then they have text that they can include in their story. This was one thing that I found in 2019, that students didn't really spend very much time on the details of their story. They just wrote a very basic story. So I was hoping that these interviews would help develop some details in the story that they could then incorporate back into their story. Last year, I also requested that they take a 16personality.com test to gather more information about themselves. So they would have additional language about their personality traits to pull into their story. This is a free online test about your personality type, a simplified Myers-Briggs test. And they made a PDF of the personality type website pages about their personality type that they also included in their coding process. After having their narrative, interview text, and their 16 personalities PDFs, they brought everything together in Excel for coding, using a thematic analysis model to identify themes. Then they went back to the literature to research the emerging themes, their own emerging themes in the literature. This was a way to tie back their autoethnography to larger society, find similar narratives, and research studies about the topics that came up in their own stories. Then they would write a final paper. So the themes that emerged from this across 32 student autoethnographies are conveying character and dispositions, respecting culture, valuing education, revering the family, struggling with identity, and striving for independence. We will talk a little bit more about these themes in the conference discussion session, but to summarize, the family theme, the culture theme, and the identity themes were at the center of the decision-making about their career process. They had full support and encouragement from their parents for their education and career choices. They were all striving for independence, and although they really relied on their family for support, they also wanted to be independent and make their parents proud and do things on their own. Some students also talked about setting up a model for their younger siblings to follow because they are usually the first person in their family to go to college. As part of the final paper, they were also required to write a reflection on the qualitative and autoethnography process that they had gone through as part of the conclusions in their paper. And here are some of the themes that came out of that. They were developing awareness and understanding of qualitative research. So a lot of them had no idea what qualitative research was. It wasn't even on their radar. They also came to respect qualitative research, and they realized how hard it was. They discussed how it's a lot harder than quantitative research. They were making connections with their narrative and with other narratives that they found in the literature between the quantitative and qualitative sides of their brain and other stories in the class and across the disciplinary differences. They also talked about making connections with things that they really didn't think about before. They talked about seeing things differently and having different perspectives. One student talked about how when she wrote her narrative, she thought she already knew what the themes were going to be, but when she did the coding, the themes were very different in the end. She said this was a surprise and an aha moment for her. They found a deeper value in their culture, and they remarked about never writing about that before, as they also developed new skills, and they appreciated having those new skills. They talked about building their confidence as a researcher, learning new tools and methods that they never had even known existed before, and how that helped to build their confidence in being a researcher. They also produced, this also produced an opportunity for them to write, and many of them talked about having an interest in continuing on and trying to figure out how to continue to use qualitative research along their career path. One biology major told me he didn't do any writing in biology, so this was really an awesome change of pace for him, and he really enjoyed it. So the lessons that I learned from teaching with an autoethnography framework in my qualitative class was the importance of reflection. These students who are very quantitative in the health science profession, who want to become doctors and pharmacists and chemists and nurses, they really don't get a chance to do much reflective writing. And they never really analyzed their writing before. I underestimated how giving the students their choice of topics around their career path, the importance of that, in that this was a very critical piece, and students felt that this helped them focus in because it was something they were really interested in. The 16 personalities component resulted in some really interesting connections, a lot of aha moments, and we'll talk about those in the discussion part of the conference in January. How the interview component of the assignment, originally designed to help them beef up the details in their autoethnography, helped them to build community in the classroom. And they were surprised about how much they all had in common, considering the wide range of cultures and backgrounds in the room. By combining autoethnography and the thematic analysis, they could see more clearly the connections between their aspirations, their personalities, their autoethnographies. So they were actually using the coding to help narrow down the really important, impactful experiences in their life and reflecting on what those mean to them as they move forward with on their career path. By bringing autoethnography narratives back to the literature, students were surprised at the experiences that were already published in scholarly literature, and about their lives and their feelings, and they now had evidence for their beliefs. Usually in library research instruction, students go to the literature first looking for evidence about their topics. And in this case, they use their own story to find literature to enhance their autoethnography and see connections in the broader society. They really delved into the literature much deeper than what I'm accustomed to in a library instruction class. So thank you for spending some time with me to learn about my research and my autoethnography teaching project. And I look forward to our discussion in January when we meet virtually. Thank you and see you later.